Everyone remembers Jordan, Gretzky, Montana, Jeter. This isn't about them. This is about the other guys. No Hall of Famers, no MVPs. This is the unheralded. And we're telling you, don't forget about
Kenny Anderson.
Kenny Anderson, 6'1" point guard out of Georgia Tech. Played 14 years in the NBA between 1991 and 2005. Best known for continuing the New York point guard legacy. Brian, man, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Kenny Anderson?
Yeah, Kenny Anderson, obviously part of the New York point guard fraternity. This kid was recruited since he was like 10 years old. Queens, New York, outstanding high school career, ended up going to Georgia Tech. He had a very successful college career. He was 1/3 of the Georgia Tech Lethal Weapon 3. If you're familiar with Lethal Weapon 3, was Dennis Scott and Brian Oliver. They were an outstanding trio. They went deep in the NCAA March Madness. So Kenny Anderson had a very good NBA career, but the first thing that comes to mind is how promising he was as a young kid.
Yeah.
As a high school kid. Like, this kid is Jordan before Jordan. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of when I think of Kenny. Like, what could have been. Probably one of the most highly recruited high schoolers ever in the New York City point guard fraternity.
A lot of hype. He definitely fit that New York City point guard mold. So we just did a Rod Strickland episode, another New York City point guard, right? Same general era. Kenny Anderson's one of those guys, right? There was a lot of those guys that they had hype, and Kenny Anderson had all the skill. He definitely had everything you would look for coming out of that time. His handle was nasty. I mean, look, a lot of guys could do crossovers and all that, but the way Kenny dribbled the ball just looked different. Like, this might sound silly. I don't know how to describe it really.
Control is the way to just had control over the ball like a yo-yo.
He did.
Yeah.
And it's hard to describe, but his moves were, like, at the same time, they were so fast and so smooth. He made the ball just look bouncier than everybody else, and it was like glued to his hand. This might sound dumb, but if you go watch those tapes, you'll see it just looked different.
Yeah. Look up him versus Duke. Georgia Tech versus Duke in the 90s. I mean, he just ate up Duke. He was just.
I'm waiting for you to say the name.
You know my guy. We're talking Bobby Hurley. That's where you're going. Yeah. If you look at, he absolutely destroyed Bobby Hurley in a crossover. They're still friends to this day, but I mean, there was a rivalry there.
I wasn't gonna bring it up myself. I know Bobby Hurley is your guy. Look, I'm from Jersey. I'm always gonna have respect for Bobby Hurley, but there are some clips out there in college where Kenny Anderson, I'm going to say he got the best of him in a couple of those clips.
Yeah, in the clips he did, but Duke does have the 3 championship games and 2 back-to-back titles.
Okay, fair. If you want to look at it that way, some people like championships, fine. All right, let's get into it, man, by guessing the teams.
Guess the teams.
Can you guess every team that he played on?
That's going to be tough because he played on a lot towards the end of his career. But, I mean, most notably, the New Jersey Nets. He had some really good seasons. I mean, him and Derek Coleman had that 1-2 punch that was supposed to be the future of the NBA.
Yes.
He had contract disputes. He wasn't quite happy with the respect he was getting from New Jersey. He wound up, I think he went to Charlotte before he went to Portland. He had some really good years in Charlotte. He had some really good years in Portland. And then things started going off the rails a little bit. He bounced around a lot. You'll probably remember him with Boston. That's all I could think of at the moment.
I'm going to give you the bell. Like, you missed a couple, but you got some of the big ones, right? So the Nets drafted him number 2 overall. I forgot that he was drafted that high. But number 2 overall, played 5 seasons in New Jersey, half a season with Charlotte. 2 seasons in Portland, 5 seasons with Boston. Then he played with Seattle, played with the New Orleans Hornets, Indianapolis, Atlanta, and the Clippers.
I don't remember him with Indianapolis or the Clippers. It must have been short.
It was short.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Speed round.
All right, speed round. How many All-Star games did he make?
At least one, maybe two. We'll say two. Oh.
Kenny Anderson made one All-Star game, 1993-94 with the New Jersey Nets. Okay, how many All-NBA teams did he make?
Maybe the same year, one.
He did not make an All-NBA team.
Wow, for all the hype coming out of high school and college.
It's funny. It's the reverse of Rod Strickland, because Rod Strickland did not make the All-Star team, but did make All-NBA. Kenny Anderson made the All-Star game, but not All-NBA. He got votes in 3 different years for All-NBA teams, did not ultimately make one. I think part of it might have had to do with the fact that the teams he were on, they weren't near the top of the standings necessarily. I think that played into it. Okay. Did he win a championship?
I'm going to say no. I mean, I know he was on a lot of teams, and there's some like random chance he could have been the 12th man. I'm going to say no.
That is correct. He did not win a championship. He went to the playoffs 6 times, played in 2 conference finals, ultimately did not win a title. Okay, now here's one that I did not know. I'll be completely honest. I didn't know. What was his nickname?
Kenny Anderson had a nickname.
I didn't know that. Apparently, it was a childhood nickname that he carried into the league as well.
Is it Mr. Chibs?
Mr. Chibs.
It is Mr. Chibs. Okay. Well, I know this so there's a documentary out called Mr. Chibs.
There is, okay.
And I didn't realize that was his childhood nickname, but...
Oh, that's a great guess then.
Well, it's a good reason that they would name the documentary that, so it makes sense now. Okay.
All right, there you go.
I don't ever remember calling him Mr. Chibs.
No, I don't either. I'm strictly going off what was on Basketball Reference.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But apparently childhood nickname carried forward and made it to the documentary, so there you go.
Yeah.
All right, man, stat time. Can you guess his single game career high in points within 5?
It's got to be high, man. He was so dynamic and explosive. Not 50, probably 41.
He scored 45 points against Detroit in 1995. Same game, he had 14 assists and 8 rebounds. 45, 14, and 8. That's a hell of a game.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, all right. So speaking of assists, can you guess his single game career high in assists?
Also high, man. He was so smooth. He was slick with it. I mean, the no-look pass. He had some really good teammates, too. 15.
He had 18 assists against the Cavs in 1993.
Okay.
Also put up 29 points in that game. So, look, man, some of these games he's got, some of the numbers were... Man, they were really up there.
Yeah.
So at his peak, he was around 18 points and 9 assists per game during the prime of his career. And he had just over 10,000 points and 5,000 assists in total across his entire career. Time for our cherry pick stat of the day.
Cherry picked stat.
Kenny Anderson was second in the NBA for most triple doubles during the 93-94 season.
Huh.
Okay, now, you're listening today... People are averaging triple doubles, right? The game was different. We keep telling you guys it didn't happen. Triple doubles were a big deal. Like getting a triple double would lead SportsCenter a lot of nights. Like it was a really big deal, right? So he was second in the NBA. He had 3 triple doubles that year. That was second in the NBA. First that year was David Robinson with 5. Okay.
I don't remember Dave Robinson as a big triple double guy. Was it in blocks?
He might have blocks.
I was gonna say probably blocks. Yeah. Okay.
That might have been it. So different game, different time, different era.
Yeah, big.
But he was filling up the stat sheet. Okay, did you know? From your answers earlier today, I think you did know that he was a first-team All-American in college.
Yeah.
And also went to the Final Four before losing to the eventual champion UNLV.
That team was beast. That was Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, George Ackles, Jerry Tarkanian's like amoeba defense or whatever it was called. Bro, that team was amazing. But who beat them in the national championship the next year?
All right, go ahead.
It was Duke.
Bring
it was Duke.
Yeah,
it
bring
was
up
Duke. It was Duke.
There you go.
Duke.
Yeah, was that your guys?
That's right. They upset that UNLV team to win the national championship. But anyway, back to...
This is not a Duke episode. All right. Look, man, that's a glimpse into Kenny Anderson's playing days. He was a really fun player to watch. And again, one of those guys that maybe he's not brought up as much nowadays, but at the time, super fun to watch. So a glimpse in his playing days. But tell us, Kenny Anderson today, what's going on?
Yeah, we talked about Kenny Anderson's that Mr. Chibbs documentary, which actually I haven't had the opportunity to watch the full thing. But looking back on his life off the court, there's a really touching human aspect to Kenny Anderson's rise and fall. I mean, to be so successful as a young kid like that, Queens, New York, having the world put on your shoulders. You're supposed to take care of your family. You're supposed to take care of your friends. You're supposed to bring everybody with you. And, unfortunately, that star burned so bright so early for him. So did his bank account. It burned really early. He ended up filing for bankruptcy. He had, self-proclaimed had an addiction to alcohol, probably addiction to the ladies. He has, I want to say 8 children now with 5 different moms. And I think that really killed his finances. And he'll talk about this candidly in interviews and talk about, where things went wrong. But his NBA potential when he came into the league was probably higher than, when you look at LeBron, when LeBron came in, everybody thought he was going to be what he ended up being.
Right.
I think people thought Kenny Anderson was going to be that good, and it just didn't happen. I don't know if you remember Felipe Lopez, another New York City.
St.
The
John's.
hype around Felipe Lopez, similar story. Felipe didn't come close to as good as Kenny Anderson was. But just the unmet potential, I think, ate away at him. There's some stuff that he talks about in the documentary about, some physical abuse, some sexual abuse that he encountered as a kid in his neighborhood and with a basketball coach. There's a lot you can learn from Kenny Anderson's story, and he's not afraid to tell that story. I think he still struggles to this day. So he was the head coach and like the Gulf Coast. He was in NCAA Fisk University in Florida, but he ended up resigning just recently in the last couple months in 2024. Don't know what he's actually doing at the moment. Probably motivational speaking. I know that he was on the circuit for that, telling his story to young folks, telling them what to avoid. But Kenny Anderson, he had a hell of a run from the ages of like 12 to 21. He was on top of the basketball world. He was dating celebrities. I don't know if you're familiar with Salt and Pepper. We're big on hip hop in this podcast.
Yeah.
He's got, I think, 2 kids with Spinderella from Salt and Pepper.
I didn't know that.
That's one. And
She was hot.
Oh yeah, Spinderella. You know who else, man? I don't know if you were big in one of the original reality TV shows, The Real World on MTV. Do you remember Tammy? It was like season 2 or season 3.
Really?
Yeah, there was a stand-up comedian who got kicked off of the show. His name was Dave. But he got kicked off of the reality show for being verbally abusive to this smoke show, Tammy, who was on it. Well, anyway, Kenny Anderson ended up marrying Tammy and having kids with Tammy. And now there's another reality show like recently called Basketball Wives.
Okay. She's
on Basketball Wives as herself being the mother of Kenny Anderson's children. But anyway, Kenny Anderson had a hell of a romantic background to go along with his basketball background.
Yeah.
And he's a good case study. He's a really good case study for someone who had everything right in front of him. He made some poor decisions. He hung out with the wrong people and didn't quite reach that potential he was looking for.
I didn't know a lot of that.
Yeah.
I got to go check out that Mr. Chibbs documentary now.
Me too. I have to go check it out too.
Yeah. I want to see that. And apparently, and I didn't know, I guess What a Man was written about Kenny Anderson, apparently.
Oh, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who knew? All right, man. It's time of the podcast where we talk about early, late, or on time. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So there's a context here, right? So Kenny Anderson left Georgia Tech a little earlier than he should have. I think maybe if he stayed at Georgia Tech for another 2 years, because I think he left after his sophomore year, if I'm not mistaken, maybe he would have been a little more mature when he entered the league. He wouldn't have the rift in New Jersey and then the rift. Another thing about Kenny Anderson, he actually had, at one point, I think he was traded to the Raptors. and he refused to go because he didn't want to play for Canada, for a team in Canada, or he didn't want to go to Canada. So the Raptors were forced to then trade him before he ever played a game for them. He had a very tumultuous first couple of stops in his NBA journey. And I think that if he hadn't left college so early, he may have matured a little bit and avoided that. So I'm going to say to the NBA too early.
I think, only looking at his playing career, the era he was in, I'm not looking at any of the outside forces that kind of weighed in on how his career went. But I think it was right time, the right era for him to come in, but wrong team. I'm going to say right time, wrong team. It looked so promising with Kenny Anderson and Derek Coleman, right? They looked like they were going to be the next Stockton and Malone, but like a more fun version of Stockton and Malone.
Right.
And things just kind of went sideways with the Nets. They didn't really have the success there like they could have had. And then
maybe being so close to home was a problem. Being, the Nets played very close to the river.
Potentially. Look, Kenny Anderson's one of those guys. He was in the spotlight at such an early age and such high expectations at an early age that's tough. And being so close to home where a lot of people are expecting things, right? And like I don't know the personal story. I can't speak to how much that may or may not have weighed on him. Mm-hmm. But just looking at things that could have been a very tough influence to a young player. I think right time, wrong team.
Yeah.
But tough to say. All right, any final closing thoughts?
Pay respect to Kenny Anderson. You could learn a lot from Kenny Anderson. Check his highlight reel. His highlight reel is outstanding, especially his college highlight reel. You can learn a lot from Kenny Anderson's story. I think a lot of young hoopers coming up now can learn from his mistakes, and I think that he embraces that. To make that much money in your NBA career and to have a lengthy NBA career and to have such a memorable name. People know Kenny Anderson.
Yeah.
A lot of times on this podcast, we'll bring up people that maybe just don't ring a bell and they listen to us and they get spit up. But you've heard Kenny Anderson's name. If you know basketball, you know Kenny Anderson's name. And I think that says a lot about him. And I think we could learn a lot from Kenny Anderson.
There you have it, man. All right, that was Kenny Anderson. This is The Unheralded, and we will see you all next time.